Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video, and today we'll be talking about Ryan Fitzpatrick coming out and saying that he hated playing for the New York Jets. Before we get started today, just wanted to mention you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to the Just Jets podcast. Also, in the description below is the link to the Just Jets Clips channel. You guys know the drill. Subscribe here. Subscribe to that channel. When this channel reaches 10K, we're at 9.8. I'm giving away a Zach Wilson jersey and 2 different packages from Manscaped. Super pumped up about it, and I hope you do that. So I was reading an article today on sportscasting.com, and it was talking about how Ryan Fitzpatrick said that he hated playing for the 2016 New York Jets, and let's talk about that quote and just let's get into it for a second. He was on the ESPN Daily podcast and had this to say. The other major point in my career when there was a transition was after my year in 2016 with the Jets, which was miserable and the first time in my life I hated football and just didn't want to play anymore. Well, I can relate because watching the 2016 Jets was miserable and I didn't want to do it anymore because that team was atrocious. In 2015, they overachieved. They went 10-6. Yes, we all know how it ended. 2017, week 17, excuse me. They lose on the road in Buffalo to Rex Ryan. But the next year, they pretty much got the band back together. They waited it out. They signed Ryan Fitzpatrick. They brought back Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker. Quincy Enunwa was developing. They had another year of Devin Smith before he got hurt and didn't end up doing anything. They brought in veteran Matt Forte. Again, pretty much the same team they were bringing back in 2015. And it imploded. It was brutal. There were so many awful storylines. And it started because Ryan Fitzpatrick was not any good in 2016. After having a career year in 2015, this is what he followed it up with. 12 touchdowns, 17 interceptions in 11 starts, 56.6 completion percentage, a YPA of 6.7, 193 yards per game. And in week 3 against the Kansas City Chiefs, he threw 6 interceptions. Putrid. One of the worst games I've ever watched as a fan of the New York Jets. But just going into, 1, how mind-boggling Ryan Fitzpatrick is, and then 2, how mind-boggling year 1, 2015 into 2016 was, he went from having a phenomenal week 2 against the Buffalo Bills on the road, needed that win after a heartbreaking loss in week 1 to the Cincinnati Bengals. He went out and threw for 374 yards, a 70.6 completion percentage, a YPA of 11, to the next week throwing 6 interceptions, a measly 4.3 yards per attempt the following week. Just awful. And he got benched for Geno Smith, and then he got benched for Bryce Petty because Geno Smith would get hurt in his game against the Ravens. And there was just so many awful storylines from that year, man. And thinking back, of all the awful Jets teams we've watched over the years, 2020 was awful. 2014 is always up there for me. But this 2016 team, they somehow finished 5-11. Don't know how they did, but they did. You had the Brandon Marshall and Sheldon Richardson beef. That started in that week 3 game against the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's when it really all went off the rails. Sheldon was mouthing off on the sideline. This is according to Brandon Marshall, of course, but Sheldon was mouthing off about the offense not getting anything done, and they just boiled over from there. You had the gem of oh my God, I can't believe I sat through and watched this game, and Jet fans, you as well. You had the gem of a 9-6 loss to the Rams with Bryce Petty at quarterback versus Case Keenum. God almighty, what a disaster. And then, top it off, Merry Christmas. Christmas Eve, 41-3 loss to the New England Patriots. Yeah, you know what, Ryan? I probably hated football too in 2016. But for the New York Jets, I am now excited about this upcoming year. The Jets won't have to be, or Jets fans rather, won't have to be rooting for losses. Maybe they're not a playoff team. I know earlier in the week I did a video of, me being a little bit more optimistic and saying what could go right for the New York Jets to make the playoffs, but they seem to have a competent GM, competent coach, and a competent quarterback, and everything's coming together and heading in the right direction. They have some nice young core pieces, but there were some dark times there, and you know what? I get it, Ryan. I hated football in 2016 too, so I'm not going to get too mad at you, but hopefully these digs are coming to a close because I hate the LOL Jets moments. Subscribe if you're new. That's it. Just a quick little rant, reaction, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Sound off in the comments or on social media. Make sure to subscribe. I'll talk to you next time.